Good evening. Welcome to the National News Broadcast. I'm Kasuni Balachandra.
I'm Tilina Udayaratna. Coming up by our top stories for tonight. 4,800 metric tons of sealed-off sugar are to be released to the market. A maximum retail price for sugar and rice from tomorrow. The Commissioner General of Essential Services says that raids have been able to recover 29,000 metric tons of hidden sugar stocks. All illegally stockpiled paddy will be taken over by the government. Minister Vimal Veeravansha says that the government has provided the best solution to eliminating the teacher-principal salary discrepancies. For the first time in history, the Colombo Stock Exchange price index exceeds the level of 9,000. A higher tendency on the spread of coronavirus in Thailand and Indonesia.
Moving on to those and other stories in detail. Steps have been taken today to release to the market more than 4,800 metric tons of sugar which have been sealed off. The stocks have been acquired by the Commissioner General of Essential Services. The stocks will be released to the market through the Sathasa and cooperative sales outlets. Seals have been placed on illicit sugar stocks apprehended in Marbola, Battala yesterday. Commissioner General of Essential Services, Major General Senaratne Unhella and Chairman of the Consumer Affairs Authority, Retired Major General Shanta Disanayaka, have arrived at the sugar storage this morning. The stocks were handed over to the Commissioner General of Essential Services to be provided to the general public at concessionary prices via the Sathasa and cooperative shops. The President, according to the powers vested upon him under the second clause of the Public Security Ordinance, has declared relevant emergency regulations for the supply of essential food items with effect from midnight on the 30th of last month. Thereafter, the Commissioner General of Essential Services, Major General Senaratne Unhella, has been appointed as authority for the coordination of distribution of essential consumer items including paddy, rice and sugar. The Consumer Affairs Authority says that accordingly there is no possibility to sell these items in the market above the prices imposed by the government. Chairman of the Consumer Affairs Authority, Retired Major General Shanta Disanayaka, said that the stock has been handed over to the Commissioner General of Essential Services. He added that the Commissioner General will take further necessary action. The items will be delivered to the masses through the Sathasa and cooperative outlets. Chairman of the Lanka Sathasa, Retired Rear Admiral Anand Pires, said that according to the instructions received, the stock will be taken over by Sathasa. Thereafter, it will be sold to consumers via 420 branches of Sathasa. He added that it has also been proposed that if requests were made, the stocks will also be released through cooperative societies and supermarkets. The Kandy District Consumer Affairs Authority has raided today a sugar depot in Kundasale, Kandy, conducted without proper permission. More than 300 metric tons of sugar and a quantity of sugar unsuitable for consumption were detected in this storage. Subsequent investigations have also paved the way to apprehend more than 28,000 kilograms of rice hidden in this store. Later on, the depot was sealed off.
And in other news, State Minister Lasantha Alagewanna says that a maximum retail price will be imposed on sugar and rice from tomorrow. The State Minister, addressing a media briefing today, said that there are adequate quantities of sugar in the country. State Minister Lasantha Alagewanna said that a maximum retail price will be set on rice and sugar from tomorrow. Import permits will be provided on the condition that traders would act according to the rules. The cooperative movement as well as Sathasa will also be directly involved in importing sugar and rice. The cabinet approval has been granted for Sathasa to import 100,000 metric tons of these essential commodities. Similar approval has been provided by the cooperative movement and for them as well. Sri Lanka has enough stocks of sugar sufficient for 2 months. The country has adequate quantities for rice as well. Therefore, there is no need for anybody to create an unnecessary fear in this regard.
Commissioner General of Essential Services Senaratne Unhella says that the total quantity of sugar detected from storages is 29,000 metric tons. These stocks have been taken over by the government. Data of the Consumer Affairs Authority reveal that sugar has been imported annually, exceeding the actual requirement. The aim appears to be to create an artificial shortage and to sell the commodity at an extremely higher price to the consumer. The government has taken measures to coordinate distribution of essential consumer items under a permit system. Raids have been able to uncover hidden sugar stocks of 6,200 metric tons from the Muthurajavela storage of the Pyramid Wilma Private Company, 4,800 metric tons from the Global Trading Private Company in Mabula Vattala, and also 4,100 metric tons from the Global Trading Private Company storage in Usvatikeyyava Vattala, and a further consignment of 41,000 metric tons from Wilson Trading Private Company. 800 metric tons of sugar have also been recovered from the RG stores in Kiribathgoda. Minister of Agriculture Mahindananda Alutgamage says that paddy stock in an illegal manner will be taken over by the government. The minister made these remarks on the occasion of the inspection of organic fertilizer projects in the Kurunegala district. Minister Mahindananda Alutgamage said that paddy mill owners need not to make this a problem. The minister further said that groups do not belong to the category of paddy mill owners are earning heavy profits. All paddy in illegal storages are to be converted into rice and sold by the government at the rate of 96 or 97 rupees. Measures are underway to manufacture 40,000 metric tons of organic fertilizer in the Kurunegala district. Minister Mahindananda Alutgamage further said funds have been provided to produce 100 metric tons in each of 56 agrarian service centres.
A three-member panel of High Court judges have been appointed today to examine the case against 25 suspects connected to the Easter Sunday attack. The bench has been appointed by Chief Justice Jayanta Jayasuriya. President of the High Court panel of judges in the Colombo High Court, Judge Damit Totavatta. The other members are Justices Amal Ranaraja and Navaratna Marasinghe. The bench was appointed according to a request made by Attorney General Sanjay Rajaratnam under the Criminal Cases Ordinance, and 23,270 charges have been filed against 25 suspects, including Naufar Maulavi, in connection with conspiring on the Easter Sunday terror attack and aiding the attack. The Attorney General has already filed a murder case before a three-member panel of High Court judges against former Defence Secretary Hemasiri Fernando and former IGP Pujit Jayasundara on charges of failing to prevent the occurrence of the Easter Sunday attack, despite having adequate intelligence information regarding such an imminent attack.
Minister Vimal Veeravansha says that at a time when the government is confronted with a most difficult situation, it has provided the best possible acceptable solution to overcome the teacher-principal salary anomalies. The minister made these remarks participating in a media briefing to enlighten the cabinet decision on the recommendations presented by the cabinet subcommittee to remove teacher-principal salary anomalies today. Minister Vimal Veeravansha said that the Cabinet has approved as a policy to implement recommendations of the ministerial subcommittee, including making the teacher service, teacher advisory service and principal service as closed services. Steps have also been taken to implement by stages the 2022 budget proposals for the elimination of the revisions. Accordingly, salaries in the teacher service will be increased by 19.54% to 42,000 rupees. This is a 25% salary increase. The salaries of teachers will also be increased in a similar manner. The current teacher salary of 27,000 rupees will be increased to 31,000 rupees. This is nearly a 16% salary increase. The Treasury will decide whether to release salary increases at once or by stages. In addition, several other recommendations have been made. The most reasonable decision has been delivered. Therefore, the minister has earnestly appealed to the teachers to engage in online education, teaching in the interest of the students.
For the first time in the history of the Colombo Stock Exchange, the stock market index has exceeded the 9,000 limit today. At the end of the day's proceedings, it was recorded as 9,163.13. The turnover of the day was at 14.56 billion rupees, and the Kandy branch manager of the CSE, Dhananjay Abe Sirivardhana, has expressed his opinion in this regard. Kandy branch manager of the Colombo Stock Exchange, Dhananjay Abe Sirivardhana, said that several records have been set at the Colombo Stock Exchange. They include the recording of the highest market capitalization amounting to 4 trillion rupees yesterday. The all shares price index has gone up by 165 points today. Accordingly, the highest ASPI of 9,163 was recorded. The CSC Kandy branch manager further said that the all shares price index has gone up by 35%. The SLS 20 index also increased by 75 points to 3,440. The daily turnover in the past few days has exceeded the level of 10 billion rupees. The stock exchange daily turnover was at 14.6 billion rupees. An attractive market condition has been created. He added that a striking interest among local investors can be witnessed.
A topic that is under intense discussion these days is the swap system or the money exchange method. The national television has inquired from Deputy General Manager of the Bank of Ceylon, R.M.N. Jivantha, in this regard. Deputy General Manager, International Investment and Treasury of the Bank of Ceylon, R.M.N. Jivantha, said that those who have rupees are able to convert them into dollars within a stipulated period of 3 or 6 months. They are also able to take loans as well. Sri Lanka has recently engaged in a currency swap with China. Similar swap agreements take place with India, Bangladesh and other SAARC countries. He added that this is a normal procedure.
Now on news concerning COVID-19 in Sri Lanka, Chairman of the State Pharmaceutical Corporation, Specialist Physician Dr. Prasanna Gunasena says that there will be any shortage in the delivery of vaccines scheduled to reach the island shortly. Under the COVID-19 immunization program, people have been administered with 20,638,181 vaccine doses. In the past 7 days, the people have been inoculated with 2,329,577 vaccine doses. 511,142 vaccine doses were provided yesterday. A district center mobile vaccination program on house-to-house inoculations of senior citizens above the age of 60 years and persons with special needs is being successfully implemented. The Sri Lanka Army is taking the initiative in carrying out the program in the Colombo district. A house-to-house campaign to inoculate persons who have not been vaccinated in the Ratmalana area was conducted under the assistance of the Mount Lavinia police station today. The Sri Lanka Army is organizing a vaccination program on senior citizens and persons of special needs in 43 Grama-Niladhari divisions in Padukka. 2,884 COVID-19 patients were detected from the country today. 2,060 patients left hospitals today following recovery. Minister Dr. Kehelia Rambukwella has instructed officials to take necessary measures to fulfill the daily oxygen supply needs of COVID-19 patients. No patient would be allowed to die due to the lack of oxygen. At a discussion held at the Health Ministry today, it has been pointed out that the island's daily oxygen production is 80 tons. There is an additional oxygen depot as well. Another such storage is to be set up shortly. Steps have been taken to import oxygen from India and Singapore. The health divisions say it is compulsory to refrain from smoking and consuming alcohol in order to prevent affliction of COVID-19. Former Director General of the National Education Institute, Professor Lakshman Jayatilaka, has passed away due to the affliction of COVID-19 yesterday. He held the post of Vice Chancellor of the Peradeniya and Northwestern Universities. He also functioned as the Chairman of the National Education Commission. A COVID-19 afflicted pregnant woman has given birth to 3 twins after 6 weeks at the Putlam Base Hospital. The hospital staff says that the woman was strictly adhered to health guidelines provided by the hospital staff during her stay at the hospital. Senior DIG Deshabandhu Tennakon has proceeded over the opening of another quarantine centre for police officials undergoing quarantine at the Pradeepa Hall in Keselvatha, Colombo today. The International Medical Services Association of Washington City, USA, has donated essential medical equipment valued at $3.1 million to the Health Ministry today.
Deputy Director General of Public Health Services, Dr. Hemant Herath, urges the public to adhere necessary quarantine health and safety guidelines. He further requests the public to receive the vaccination against COVID-19 as per the prevailing situation in the country.
With regards to the vaccination, we get several reports about a continuing high number of deaths reporting over the past many weeks. And we observed that these deaths among these people who have died, majority are over 60 years and suffering from one or more comorbidities such as the liver problems, kidney problems and several other uncontrolled diabetes and similar illnesses. And therefore, majority of these people have not vaccinated also. And we have observed that even though we have completed in most places the number of vaccination targets to the maximum effectively, there are certain people who have not received or obtained the vaccine up to now, and out of them a majority are either suffering from chronic disease or debilitating diseases or in their extreme of age, and therefore these people are more vulnerable. And I would like to urge the public to make sure that everyone who are vulnerable to this disease, those who are having chronic diseases especially, and also highly debilitated persons who are probably confined to their homes, need to get this vaccination at the moment. Utilize the home care services that we are providing, or bring the patients to the nearest vaccination center and get the vaccination to avoid the bad outcome that we are experiencing at the moment. One reason for the continuing number of deaths reporting around 200 is basically these patients are not dying not immediately after admission. Most of them are being treated in hospitals for several weeks in certain occasions. There are a considerable proportion of people who are not vaccinated and also suffering with some other diseases. So therefore, most of the time, these people are still continuing to get the treatment in the hospitals, and some are getting complications, and the deaths are reported among these people continuously, and this will continue for another few days, and until the total number of cases, if you cannot bring down, these numbers will also continue in high numbers. So therefore, what we would like to urge from the public is take every possible measures to make sure that the new cases are not going to happen, and adhere to the health guidelines wherever possible, and make sure that the disease is not going to spread. And I also would like to urge all authorities, stakeholders concerning the managing public places, public transport and related areas. One day these restrictions will be relaxed, and by that time we need to make sure that there will be no more congestion in the public transport systems, no more congestions in public places. Make sure that there will be no more spread of the disease after opening the country. We have time, and I would urge all the people, all stakeholders to act immediately and make sure that there will be no repetition of what happened when the system was opened earlier.
In more COVID-19 news, health experts have warned coronavirus cases could rise again in Indonesia, and Thailand relax its restrictions, but vaccine rates remain low. Cases in Southeast Asia have risen sharply in recent months with the arrival of the highly transmissible Delta variant. Although case numbers are still rising fast in most of the regions, Indonesia and Thailand, which have its largest economies, have started to lift curbs on restaurants and shopping malls to ease the economic effects of lockdown. Indonesia reported 10,534 new cases yesterday, 5 times fewer than its peak in mid-July, while Thailand reported 14,802 new cases today, down 37% from its mid-August peak. However, experts said relaxations carry dangers with a low level of vaccination and a shortage of testing, with rates of positive tests often above 5% recommended by the World Health Organization. Indonesia has recently had a positive test rate of 12% and Thailand 34%. Israel has recorded its highest daily number of coronavirus cases with nearly 11,000 new infections amid a surge caused by the highly transmissible Delta variant as schools prepare to reopen. The previous high came on January 18th with 10,118 cases. Despite yesterday's 10,947 confirmed cases, Israel is pressing ahead with plans to fully open its school system today as it tries to boost vaccination rates. The Prime Minister Naftali Bennett has maintained that the surge can be controlled through vaccination and protective measures such as masks. Most schools in India were given the go-ahead to reopen for the first time in nearly 18 months, despite apprehension from some parents and signs that infections are on the rise once again. At least 6 more states in the country will gradually reopen schools and colleges with health measures in place throughout September. In New Delhi, all staff must be vaccinated and class sizes will be capped at 50% with staggered seating and sanitized desks. The World Health Organization has said it is monitoring a new coronavirus variant known as MU, which was first identified in Colombia in January. MU, known scientifically as B1621, has been classified as a variant of interest, the global health body said. The WHO said that the variant has mutations that indicate a risk of resistance to vaccines and stressed that further studies were needed to better understand it.
Chairman of the State Pharmaceutical Drugs Corporation, Specialist Physician Dr. Prasanna Gunasena, has clarified on the need to purchase medicine at a higher prices in 2019 due to emergency purchasing. At a media briefing at the Department of Government Information today, Chairman of the State Pharmaceutical Drugs Corporation, Specialist Physician Dr. Prasanna Gunasena, said that a shortage exists in only 25 to 30 drugs out of 1,200. He added that at the time he assumed duties as chairman of the State Pharmaceutical Drugs Corporation, the monthly average non-availability of drugs was between 300 to 400. As a result, the corporation was compelled to engage in emergency purchasing at higher prices. Although a price formula had been brought in last April, the prices of some drugs was increased between 200 and 300%.
The Vatican ambassador to Sri Lanka, His Eminence Archbishop Brian Udaigwe, Apostolic Nuncio, paid a courtesy call on Foreign Minister Professor G.L. Pires at the Foreign Ministry yesterday. The Foreign Minister explained that during his tenure as Minister of Education, he was able to confer the degree awarding status to the Benedict XVI Catholic Institute at Bolavalana, Negombo, which was established by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. The minister highlighted the importance of setting up the institution not only to impart education but also to develop social equity for the less privileged segments of society. The minister also expressed deep sorrow on the tragedy and the suffering undergone by the Catholic Church, along with the need for justice to bring all those who were responsible before the law. Alluding to the sensitive nature on the ongoing investigation, the minister emphasized the need to have an informed discussion with a view to resolve the matters with His Eminence Cardinal Malcolm Ranjit and the Catholic Bishops' Conference at the earliest juncture. While expressing his sincere appreciation for the attention being received by the Catholic Church and Catholics in Sri Lanka, His Eminence Archbishop Brian Udaigwe suggested for a meeting with the committee of the Bishops' Conference in order to discuss the relevant issues with representatives of the Church. Professor G.L. Pires, expressing appreciation on this opportunity, has also said that the government is collecting all particulars from the Attorney General's Department, the police and the relevant state agencies to be able to provide the fullest information at the discussion with the Church.
Speaker of the Chinese Parliament, Li Shansu, says that the Chinese government would exert maximum strength to assist Sri Lanka to overcome the economic and pandemic conditions. He has given this assurance through a video technology discussion with Speaker Mahinda Yapapewatana and ministers. Several Chinese ministers, including Finance Minister Liu Kung, also took part in the discussion. Sri Lanka was also represented by Deputy Speaker Ranjit Siambalapitiya, Leader of the House Minister Dinesh Gunawardena, Minister of Finance Basil Rajapaksa, Minister of Foreign Affairs Professor G.L. Pires and Minister of Youth and Sports Nama Rajapaksa. The Speaker has thanked China for the gift of 3 million vaccine doses. He has also requested to encourage Chinese investors in the Colombo Port City project. Minister Professor G.L. Pires said China has always remained as a close friend of Sri Lanka. Finance Minister Basil Rajapaksa has recalled the Chinese assistance in the construction of the BMICH Supreme Court Complex, highways and the Hambantota Harbour.
Well, that's it from the Rupavahini News Desk for tonight. Join us once again tomorrow. Until then, thanks for watching. Have a great night.
Good night.